Okay, welcome back to Open Line. I'm Mark Bellinger. This is Vice Mayor David Briley joining us for the hour here, and we're taking phone calls. And let's go to our next call. I promised Gene would be next, and here is Gene. Hi, Gene.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you? What's your question or what's your comment?
I have two questions. I wanted to know, you know how I think it's Chattanooga has the Volkswagen plant. I was wondering why, and Rutherford County has the Nissan plant. I was wondering why Davidson County doesn't have any of these new plants coming into Davidson County. You have a lot of young kids out there, young people that probably already graduated from high school, whatever. They maybe didn't go to college, like on my job. A lot of them waiting to go full-time. A lot of companies are not letting people go full-time anymore. These people need insurance and benefits and stuff like that. And I was wondering why Davidson County is not going for some of these car plants. I know, like, I've been here 20 years, but I'm originally out of Indiana. They have two new car plants up there. Why isn't Davidson County going for some of these car plants?
Well,
That's
David,
my question.
all right, I'm going to put you on hold. What do you think?
I mean, I think the history of that is that when Nissan and Saturn both came to Middle Tennessee, so those are the two sort of big plants in Middle Tennessee, they have very big locations. They're very large parcels of land. There are not quite as many in Davidson County where we could do that. So that was one difficulty. The tax breaks that went to these car companies to open were significant, so it didn't necessarily fit into what we were willing to do locally. But I think the biggest reason is that leaders in the state looked at us regionally, and if you look at the Nissan plant in Smyrna, you probably got a lot of Davidson County residents going there to work. The same is true for Saturn, people going back and forth. So we've become very regional in terms of the economic activity. So I do think it would be great to have a plant here in Davidson County, but we do have to look at it regionally, and that the fact that we have two active plants here in Middle Tennessee is great.
I was talking to the mayor of Lebanon yesterday about the Music City Star and how one of the things they're working on is trying to get kind of more of a return trip from Nashville to Lebanon so people can work in some of the factories out there. But then the other issue is getting people from the train itself to those factories.
Right.
And that can be probably said by all over, right, about Rutherford County and
right.
and Robertson and the other neighboring counties.
We've got people going back and forth a lot right now, and so your gut tells you sometimes you want to think just about Davidson County, but you have to think about it regionally, because that's really that's where we are right now.
And you got to rely also on, when it comes to transportation, funding from the state, the federal government, so it's all tied together.
That's right.
All right, on line one, our friend Reverend Enoch Fuzz. Reverend?
Hey, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I got a quick question. I want to make it quick. I narrow it down here. What would you think about, I think the city council, help us understand what part you play in providing the budget for the city. And I wanted to think about an item where a lot of cities used to have summer job programs for kids, and we could put 1,500 kids to work in the summer for about $1 million. It costs maybe $1 million, but it's okay there. And then I got a concern about public schools that I've been getting a lot of parents, there's probably 10 so far, and they represent 100 kids who don't have the money for field trips or school activities like going on a band championship. What do you think about, number one, the council or somebody helping to get a budget item where our city let kids work in the summertime? We like 1,500 kids to get a job during the summer. And what do you think about funding for schools, or do they need more funding?
I'm going to put you on hold, Reverend.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Well,
it's a tough issue in Davidson County, isn't it? I mean, I want to go back to this vital signs report for a second, because it showed how the council here and the mayor, you have to deal with, I believe it was 120,000 or 80,000 people who are living below the poverty level in this city, which when you compare that to the surrounding counties, in fact, Davidson County had as many people at the poverty level than all the other surrounding counties combined. So it's quite a challenge, and it kind of falls in this right here, where you need to give people here ways to to get to jobs, ways to or create jobs, right?
Right. Well, it's always great to hear from Pastor Fuzz. I enjoy attending his church on occasion. I owe him a visit back. And so sort of to come back to the two items he talked about very specifically, the first is the job training program or some sort of summer program. I've talked to Mayor Berry about this issue generally in the context of Amendment 3, which was meant to promote more local hiring. And I think she and I share a goal that regardless of what happens with Amendment 3, that we'll work hard to make sure that we do have more opportunities like that. The way the city budget works, the mayor presents a budget and it's up to the council to either approve that or to amend it. So I feel pretty confident that there will be some effort this coming summer to expand those kind of job training opportunities. You have to be careful about them to make sure that they are designed in a way to be successful. We want the experience for young people to be rewarding and to help them make that next step of graduating from high school or getting into one of the community colleges here. But I think it's a great idea, and I hope the mayor pursues it, and if not, I'll encourage the council to do it. You know, funding for schools, on the other hand, is the biggest single item in our metro budget. And it's destined to go up every year just because we're adding so many students, even if we kept it at the same funding level. I have always supported additional funding for metro schools because you can just sort of look at the disparity between what the typical public school student gets and what the typical private school student gets in our community, and you see there's a gap there, and we've got to work to fill that gap. The actual details of how that money gets spent is up to the school board. We do have Councilman Ed Kendall, who is the new chair of the Education Committee, and he's got more experience than anybody on the council as it relates to education. He's a long-term member of the school board. So Pastor Fuzz, I think that's the man to talk to in terms of getting that done, and I'll encourage I think Councilman Kendall to work with you on that.
I know it's very early, but how do you see this council and this mayor being different from the previous administration? And can you see that or not yet?
Well, you know, that is difficult to say exactly. I mean, I do think you see sort of an up and down. If you look back at previous mayors where one mayor might have been seen for big projects and then there was some pulling back and getting back to sort of bread and butter issues. I think you can take from Mayor Berry's speech to the council last night, where the headline was that she was going to spend more money on sidewalks, that you can see that she's probably going to be focused on the bread and butter stuff as much as she's focused on anything else. So that's one thing I think you might see. I don't mean to speak for her, but that's just an indication to me. We're about to see a lot of change in the council because we're losing our staff director. One of the long-term staff members, Elise Waller, has gone to work in the mayor's office as well. And we've got so many new members. I'm new. So I think there'll be a different feel at the council. I think you're likely to see probably more questions asked just because we're new. And I do think that there is it's an ambitious council, not in personally ambitious, but ambitious in the sense that they want to accomplish a lot. So you're likely to see a little bit more, a few more questions asked is how I would put it.
Very good. All right. I think we've got Tiffany here. Hi, Tiffany.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right. What are you doing tonight?
I'm just feeling, coming up with this last year, and the traffic situation is a nightmare. I love how Nashville is growing and how we have all these things. It's great. But we are going to have to do something about our transportation and something soon. Some kind of light rail, something, because Nashville is just total gridlock now. And it's frustrating when I hear people talk about regional transportation. That's all fine and great, but Y'all need to deal with the epicenter, the heart of the problem. The biggest congestion is in the city. Once you fix the transportation problem in Nashville, then focus on regional transportation, because what sense does it make bringing people in here from other counties? And once they get here, they're stuck. You know, they're stuck just like the rest of us.
No, I understand what you're saying. And she does, I'm going to put you on hold for a second, Tiffany. She makes a good point. What can Nashville just do alone with this? Because because we are a metro area, we can build out to the county line, right? Or do we really need to have that help from everybody else?
Well, I mean, I think the headline there is that if you took all the cars from Wilson and Williamson and Sumner and Robertson, all the surrounding counties off the Davidson County streets, we wouldn't have a traffic problem. I mean, you can get around fine. But that's not going to happen, and we don't want that to happen. So it is people coming into Nashville to work. It's people coming into Nashville to go to Lower Broad and spend money at all the attractions down there. So it's going to have to be a regional approach to it in some degree. So we do have to think more about how we're going to get people from Lebanon to Nashville without getting in a car. We're going to have to think a lot about how we maintain the infrastructure we have so that it is functioning well, so we're not shooting ourselves in the foot, like I said before. And then, you know, if you, I think this is one of the things the Planning Commission is really looking closely at. If you look at the pikes, Charlotte Pike, Dickerson, all of them going out, there's a great opportunity there to add density so people can live in those areas, build it in such a way so that you're not having to use your car every time you need to do something. It's going to be building a different kind of city than we currently have. And if you walk out of this building right here and see all the cranes, you see we're already in the process of doing it. So part of it is building the new city in a way that doesn't make things worse. Part of it is going to require more cooperation between the surrounding counties so that we can build out the kind of commuter system that that makes sense for us. Does it mean more buses? Does it mean more HOV lanes? What does it mean? And we're going to have to really come together as a group and do things we've never done before. I mean, it's going to require people to abandon a lot of partisan labels, because it's going to take Democrats and Republicans sort of getting rid of those ideas and realizing that the economic vitality of the region really depends upon on improving our transit system, not becoming a place where it takes 2 hours each way every day, because that's what brings people here right now, is sort of the ease of life here. We lose that, and we won't have the same problems anymore. All of a sudden we'll be trying to figure out how we're going to go forward at all.
We'll have different ones, huh? All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're taking more of your phone calls. The number is on your screen, 737-7587, and of course the area code is 615. We'll be right back.